Right, welcome back. Just for a quick update. That's the Duke done. Be like a different car that now. So lucky that would have had the whole wheel and wishbone ripped off. That's actually what's left of it. And believe me, I've never seen one as bad as that for a while. I don't even think it's original either. There's some cheap branded one. So yeah, it's definitely a bad one. This Vectra, like I mentioned before, I've done a bit of research. It's been that long since I've done any work on these. So what was happening is, it was in, as you know, a couple of weeks ago. And when it had been stood for a long time, it would chew over. And the first thing everybody would say would be glow plugs. Well, common rail diesels, like I've told you about the Audi and stuff, are not required until it's into minus figures. And this car's done this for a while. So how can I explain this? It's a combination of two faults. So for quite a while now, it's been getting chewed over in the mornings to get it to go. And eventually it goes and it'll run all day. Once it fires up, you can stop it and it'll fire straight up again. Now, electronics on new diesels, this is still quite a relatively modern diesel, even though it's an 08. There's a lot of factors that's taken into account for starting from cold. So, first to the point, I went to look at the car. It turned over a couple of times, obviously did its usual chewing, stopped. Put the key in again, nothing on the key. Just turn the key, nothing. Not a single thing. Thought, right, it's not the battery, because it had enough power in to turn it. It's not the fact of anything else. I was thinking, well, it could be a mobiliser. But with these, just grab a light. The starter motor is just down the back of the engine. Down there. That's literally it there, what you can see. Just where that pipe is. So I just give it a little tap. And straight away, immediately, obviously, Dad gave it a tap and I had the key. Immediately, it started cranking over. But chewing over, not starting. Now, I remember something back in the day with these. Obviously, I can't put the scanner on because it's broken. I do remember with these coolant temperature sensors cause a lot of problems. If they're not sending the right readings to the ECU, what the engine needs to do is when it's cold, it needs to detect that it's cold to slightly overfuel, to run it rich, to start it up. And it doesn't do it. So a little top tip for any of these Vectras, if you have one that is chewing on in the morning, don't try it. If you just know in the morning or it's been stood for hours, it'll chew on. All you do is disconnect the sensor and then go and start the car. And if the car starts bang like that, you know it's a sensor. Yes, the radiator fan will run, and yes, you will set an engine management light off, but you can clear that off with any code reader. And that's what it is. So with these, if you do have the issue with them starting, disconnect the coolant sensor. So now we know the coolant sensor is at fault for the cold start in the mornings, but because it's been left this long and not really mentioned much to us, I just picked it up. But again, when customers' cars come in, I notice faults on people's cars every day, but I don't go saying to them, unless it's dangerous, going like, oh, you need this, you need that, 'cause then they think that you're money pulling. Unfortunately, sometimes you just do what they ask. They wanted an MOT done, they got an MOT done. They wanted the brake discs, a caliper done, they got the caliper done. So, you kind of keep going, taking £200 and £300 bills off people, then saying, oh, it needs this and this, then doing that and that, and then it needs this, and then it needs that. Then people think that you're taking the piss. So do you agree with how I work like that? Because, when you're dealing with 08 cars, I could be saying, yeah, your exhaust needing replaced, yeah, your brakes are getting a bit shabby, yeah, you need a sensor on the engine, you need this, you need that. Then people are going to be thinking, this guy's a bit like Quick Fit here, he's trying to, every time I'm coming in, getting more and more money. So, yeah, I knew it was there as an issue to an extent, but I just left it to them. You can't keep just reporting faults all the time. I advise things, but to a degree. So, yeah, so what I've got coming, a genuine Phoebe sensor, which is exactly what you get from Vauxhall, but that's not coming till later on today. But we can't ignore the fact that even though it was chewing on, it was absolutely dead at the key. One little knock to the starter motor, boom, it started turning over. So definitely, I could just stick the coolant sensor on and it would stop the chewing over, and it would, now it's starting first time every time, but it'll be the one time the lass is left with the car, with the kids on her own, in the pouring rain, and it doesn't start. So we know that the starter motor is starting to get worn. So that's the way forward. We're going to fit a new starter motor and a new coolant temperature sensor. And it should be, fingers crossed, all good, because the battery seems okay. Clearly, I can't film much of this. It's quite an in-depth job. Hands up the back of engines and stuff like that. So it's not really the type of thing I can record. But I just thought I'd show you an update of where we are now, and I'll show you obviously later on, that sun's bright, of how far we'll get. So I'll catch you soon. Further update on the Vectra. Didn't think it would go this far, but we managed to push the MOT back on the little Yaris. The only thing I've done to that, just quickly, probably not even any point in showing you, fit some Denso hybrids. This is a wafer test at 5 o'clock. It's currently about 4:15. Nice factory fit Denso hybrids. Yes, they're a bit expensive, but they'll last. Cheap things on there that just never last 5 minutes. They always kind of scatter across the screen on those Yarises with the long arm and the short wiper. Right. Vectra, we're getting a lot further than we thought. First up, I wonder where my dad is. He's up there. Yeah, it's about the only way you can do it, really, with two people. So, there's the old starter motor. We must have changed this years ago. I've worked on this car for years, but you can see it's been on a long time. But it definitely was the starter causing the issue. I'll just grab a lamp. So, there's a stupid bracket on them at the top, which makes it quite difficult. I mean, on your own, it would be really difficult, but this is what we're dealing with. I'll just show you as best as I can. So, see where that brown wire is? See if the phone will decide to focus in, which it's not. The bottom one there is your... See, I'm shining the light at the screen. I'll do it that way there. That is your bottom fixing and an earth connection. You've got a third one just where that white sticker is, and the second one even, and the third one's right at the top. You've got those electrical connections, which is your red wire. Let's see if I can shine it in up there. A bit difficult with the phone. Nah, can't get it up there. But anyways, I'll show you on the old starter motor. So you've got your 3, 1, 2, the other one's at the bottom, and these here you've got your red. That was the red wire, and there's a little black wire goes to that's your solenoid. So yeah, you can barely even see it from under here. As you can see, even shining the light in doesn't do it much justice. There we go, just above the oil filter housing. That's that big unit up there, and you can't even get it down here because of the oil filter and all this. It had to actually go out through the top. So, I'm just going to quickly let the lift down now. I'll just quickly fasten up this cover, and then I'll bring it down.
It's the strut top.
So on the top of here, there's not a great deal to see either. You can just see it down there, buried. And we managed to get it out of this gap, just here. So as you can see, it is a two-man job. People say they do these things on their back on driveways. To be honest, you've got to be really best of luck. I must admit, I'd sooner pay somebody the money than faff on like that on one of my own cars or whatever. But that's that done. Now we're going to focus on this. We're going to quickly turn it over now, connect the battery up, and then I'm going to do this. The reason I didn't do that was because obviously it'll leak antifreeze everywhere right where we're working, which is exactly what you do not want. So yeah, I'm just going to quickly connect the battery up and we'll have a look at that sensor. Oh, while we're on, I'll show you a genuine Phoebe one, Phoebe Bilstein. And even the guy at Vauxhall said direct fit ones from Vauxhall are Phoebe ones. So there we go. All you do with them, you just get a deep socket, put it over it, and get them off. So just a few things, obviously. When you're doing a starter motor, always disconnect the battery. And a top tip, if you ever get a new battery and you've got these little shields that come on them, don't throw them away, just keep them. Because like this type of battery, even when you disconnect them, you can't move the leads out the way. So you just put a protector over like that. So that's what you do with those. So I'm going to connect that up now. I'm going to leave the sensor for now and then actually start it up and see how it goes. The starter, remember, again, if you're ever doing starter motors or you have a problem with a starter motor, if you start braying on with them with hammers and crack the casing, all starter motors and stuff like that and alternators, they come with what you call a surcharge. So I think we've been charged about 50 quid to send this back, so it goes back in the box, then you get your money back. So do not be tempted to, a lot of people have a habit of when they take something off and they've been having a bad job, they'll chuck it across the floor or something like that. Look after the old unit because you will get a surcharge on it, so be very, very careful of that. The only thing is, I'm going to have to use the old scanner. Once we've started it once, I'm going to swap the sensor and clear the code, so I'm going to have to use the old one. Just to be fair, we used to get away with using that all the time, but we've got a new one ordered. bit of a bittersweet thing, but it's one of those. We're going to try and get it fixed. And if we do get it fixed, I know a few of you guys out there were interested in buying, or I will be selling that scanner. It'll be cheap, so don't worry. But it's a fully up-to-date unit. As you see, it does all the deactivating lights, daylight run lights on the Volvos and everything. I'll probably do a separate video, just a quick short 1 minute video on when I come to sell it. So we'll do a test now. We've got it up. Moment is, will it start? Here we go. Yes, it will. Ideal. And like I mentioned, when we get the new sensor on, when it's cold, there'll be no chewing over. It'll just start straight away. So there we go. Happy days. There we go. Again. So I'm just going to pause this now, and I'll get back to you when I've done the sensor. Right, that's it. Really didn't expect this job to be getting done, but we've got a lot of work in tomorrow. So, just quickly to recap. New coolant temp sensor down there. Sorry guys, it's getting dark. But it's exactly the same as what the Vauxhall one was. Even the same numbers and everything. So get a Phoebe one if you ever need one for one of these. It's very tight to come out. I was getting a bit worried. And there's the old starter motor ready to go back tomorrow for surcharge. So there we go. Now all we need to do is, first of all, let it run, check for any leaks on that sensor. No coolant hardly came out, so that shouldn't be an issue. And the only thing is, like I mentioned at the beginning of how to start these up, you've got to disconnect it. So therefore, there might be codes or there may not be. Sometimes these things read them, other times they don't. Yes, I'm having to use my old machine here. Let's go back. Let's go in. Might be under pending code. Wait, I don't think any confirmed codes will be on, which there isn't. I've just hit the same one again. Back. I've hit the same one again. I'm not used to this machine. Right. Pending. No, there's none. So anyways, I'm surprised it hasn't even registered the fact I've disconnected that sensor, but they don't always. Just doing a quick erase, it erases the car's memory. Sometimes that little spanner light, car with the spanner light goes out, other times it doesn't. So we'll try, I'll press it on here, and we'll just see if it goes off on there. Sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. Yep, there we go. See that? Codes cleared successfully. I know why that'll probably be coming up. Because I do know that more than likely this car's a couple of glow plugs off. There's that idiot again, hear him? And obviously the only reason is it won't affect their starting. It can in some cases, but these are direct injection common rail diesels and really should not affect them. So there we go. So we've got the codes cleared in neutral. I'll just reset the ignition again. Ready to start. On the key, lovely. So there we go. No lights. Obviously the starter is engaging as it should be. And no leaks. So all I'm going to do is let this run, check for any leaks. I'm going to let it run right up the temperature. And that's it, job done. I'll be calling the lady and she can have her car back. She'll be over the moon. In the meantime, all I've done with my Merc was the coolant on it since it's been in Spain. I'm not sure how much it's been changed. Judging by full dealer Mercedes history, it will have. But I've just drained off and banged in a litre of, I don't know what I've done with the bottle, a litre of fresh coolant into it, the proper Mercedes stuff, just to strengthen it up. I'm debating now, while this is warming up, I found this freebie in the back of the car. It's a nice Auto Glim wheel cleaner. I think, since it's not absolutely freezing cold at this time of night, what makes a change, I want to reverse this out, clean the wheels while this is warming up, and then I'm going to get home. So I'll catch you tomorrow on Thursday's vlog, guys. Thanks for watching. Hello guys, and welcome back to Thursday's vlog. Just thought I'd show you what's going on. I haven't had really much involvement with this. I've been on ordering the parts and all the rest of it, but I'll show you. It's I'll just come over here for the moment. It's Harry's car. He's been in a few times to help. You see, he's had the Vectra. We did that exhaust on down there. The cat on the diesel Vectra with 200,000 mile. Just while I'm busy grinding them, I'll just show you what we've actually got in. I didn't even know this was booked in. A nice E-Class 3.2 diesel V6. And number plate LV. It's in for a check over, so we shall see. But you know, this is a bit of both. This registration plate totally contradicts what I've been telling you guys. Like I said, don't hang on me every word. LV, it's a London car, right? Yeah. What does it say at the bottom? coast cars. How contradictory could that actually possibly be? So yeah, we shall see. Looking at the arches, so you can see that. I don't know if you can see that there. A little bit of corrosion. It's not bad. And obviously you can see there that bits of corrosion starting. Have a look round the front. Really not bad actually, this one. Good nick, very good nick. But like I was telling you, we'll have a look at this one underneath, then we'll have a look at mine underneath, and that's what the difference 16, 17 years in Spain does to even being in London. So yeah, I don't know anything about this car whatsoever. I just know it's in for a check, so I can't tell you much whatsoever. Let's have a look. This arch is good, but again, you can still see corrosion on there. So even though this is a London car, the best you can get, coast cars though, you know, it's still actually really good nick, this thing, I will say. Front wings, I believe these are some kind of aluminium on these. This is a nice spec one by the look of it. It's got the bi-xenons, headlamp washer moment. I'll tell you now, I bet you some of that Dux back would do a nice job of those lights. But just to show you just a quick, what's the word? Comparison. Look at that, nothing, absolutely nothing. Bearing in mind that's 06, I think, check the reg, and this is 2002. So that's got a lot more years on that. Yeah, sorry, 05. So yeah, detachable tow bar, parking sensors. So it's in for some kind of check. Let's have a quick look in the back first. Nice black leather. Nice interior actually, I do like it. It's got the nice black, like darkened wood colour. I love that soft touch. Door cards, lovely. That is nice actually. I mean, obviously there's a bit of trim off here for some reason, but and a little bit missing on there, but that's lovely. You got your 3 memory function, folding mirrors, boot opening area, your dark wood. I do like a headlamp washer moment button. I do like that. Yeah, nice interior this. And it's got that lovely blue blue tinted windows that you see on this era of Mercedes. They look absolutely great. I wish mine had them on. And a full, didn't notice that, full panoramic roof. It's the actual same as mine, the Evo spec. Lovely, very nice. And it's a diesel, the engine you want, auto. I can see myself in this, and I love this dash. My CLK had this dash on. This is my favourite dash that Mercedes did. This sun's really annoying. I'll show you later when it's in the garage. Like a nice brushed stainless steel. When you switch it on, it's all the white dials. And it is lovely. It's just absolutely great. Mine, actually, the one I had the Speedo. There, like that. Lovely, big Speedo readout. I love that. Absolutely love that. This control here, you've got all the various things. I would imagine this will have to have heated seats, which it does have heated seats. Sat nav, cruise control and limiter. And the blinds. Yeah, lovely glass roof. I'm not going to attempt to open it, definitely not. But that is lovely. If this car checks out underneath, I wonder if this guy wants to sell it. No, I don't need another saloon car. I don't. Let's fire it up, shall we? It needs to be moved anyway out the way. Oh, that sounds lovely. Very nice. Let's on it. See, that's my lack of experience with Mercedes. It's actually a straight 6. It's the straight 6. So you had your 5-cylinder, 270. And this is your 3, do you know what it is? The straight 6 engine is even better than the V6. This is definitely the one to have. But one thing with these cars that I do not like is your SBC. Does anybody know what that is? And you see that? SBC? These cars have fly-by-wire, and I think this one, by the look of it's been changed. The brake pedal is just a button. The brake pedal is not connected. I'll just close that for the minute. The brake pedal is just a button on this. It is not connected via a rod or anything. And they have a very odd feel as well. This pedal, that there, is not connected by a bar to a master cylinder or a servo. That is a switch. And that switch goes to that unit. And when them units go wrong, they are super, super expensive. And you get such a weird feel from them. don't know why they ever had to do that. I really think that's a stupid idea. But more on this when we get it in the garage. But for now, I'm just waiting because I'm busy grinding on in there. When they finish doing that, we're going to get the Jag. The Jag, unfortunately, has failed again. And it's going to the auto electricians this time. And I'm going to go across this afternoon, try and get it to start. If it starts, straight over the auto electricians. I might film that later. But that does sound lovely. That is lovely. And that turbo's got a lovely set as well. I don't know if you can hear that. That's lovely. That really is nice. Definitely would like to have that engine in my life. Then again, I really do like the supercharger in that. So yeah, we'll leave it there, guys. What I am going to do is get me little C230 alongside this and just get a little couple of photos next to them. Two nice Mercedes together. So yeah, I don't know much about this, but we will have a bit of a headlamp wiper moment, shall we? This has got the bi-xenons on, of course. Just open the window there. We'll give it a go, shall we? Helps if I turn the camera around. And this car does want a full pre-check, so I need to check everything's working. Lights, wipers, washers. There we go. It only actually works as long as I press the button. So I need to be quick. Yeah. Don't know if you get that in there. I can't get there that fast, unfortunately. There we go. Nice little slow working. I'll just quickly go around and show you now what's going on in the garage with Harry's. And there's my dad's new car. Just anybody wants to know how it's getting on. They're liking it. The only downside we've got with it is we feel that through the COVID lockdown and all the rest of it, why there was a delay with this car, that Toyota have skimped on a few little options on them to get them out the door quicker. Compared to the CHR we had, it lacks quite a lot. Like one of my most popular videos I did here was the self-parking. This doesn't have the self-parking. It doesn't have the sensors on the side, which I find weird. A 40 grand car with less spec than the CHR. And second of all, the LED headlamps on it, they're fine at the front. All this is good. But what I don't like about it is on the back, which I did mention straight up, was you've got your LED stop lamps and your LED side lamps, but your reversing lights and your indicators are old school bulbs, which is a bit of a not good. It should be all LEDs on a premium product car. And there's a couple of other things on the inside as well which we thought it would have had, which it doesn't. But all said and done, we're really happy with it. Obviously it's four-wheel drive. It'll really pick itself up in the winter when we eventually get them. There's been loads of these wasps, guys. This is mid-November, and look, mid-November, and there's a guy cutting the grass. What's going on with the seasons? But yeah, these guys are all over the place at the minute, and I'm a bit worried because if you look, they're very docile. One of them gets in your ear, they'll think nothing of stinging you. I don't like wasps at all, but I'm not one of them kind of people to knock it off and stand on it. I'll just leave it be, let it get on with its own business. But yeah, headlamp washer moment. So, just going to go over now. We'll see what's going on in the garage. Oh, actually, I will quickly show you what I've got in store to do today if I get 5 minutes. I'm going to do the interior. On mine, I've got some leather cleaner. It's not a cleaner, it's like a leather balm. I think my dad's put on it, so just going to put a little bit on the seats. They're perfectly fine, just I want to get some moisture into them with them being in Spain. It's been quite dry. Waiting for the spark plugs to come. They'll not be done till next week. In the seatbelt wire correction underneath, that waiting for that to come. But what I have got is the fuel filter and the air filter to do. But I'm not doing that, the fuel filter, probably till next year. It looks there's like 4 pipes going to it. I'll show you it in here. Again, I had to get these from a different supplier because my suppliers wanted a lot of money for these. There's the fuel filter in Bosch, but it's got like 4 pipes. I don't know where that's buried. If it's easy to get to, we'll have a go. But it's got the all-important fuel pressure regulator built into it. But what I am going to do today, I've got all that stuff in here, so I'm not going to pull it out, documents and stuff, is the air filter. There's a set of Duracell batteries in there for the key, which is here. I've already done the other one. So yeah, I'm going to do the air filter, so that'll be the air filter done. We'll get round to doing an oil change, pollen filter, and it'll only just leave the fuel filter and the spark plugs to do next week when I get time. Just to show you on Harry's car, doing the discs and pads front and back. That's it there. Padgett discs on the front. The pads are getting ready to go in. And the back ones have been done as well. Nicely done. Back ones are stripped. Just to show you on these insignias, like I keep telling people, don't expect these insignias to come in and have a cheap price for labour, because you really have got to spend the time with a little grinder grinding out these little keyways to fit the new shims, so the pads are nice and free, which I showed you last week with the little grinder. This luckily has got an electronic handbrake, but it's based on a cable system, which is great because our scanner is effed. We don't have it, so if this had been electronic calipers, we wouldn't have been able to do it. So rear discs and pads, front discs and pads, and an oil change and MOT. And that's that one done. And hence you see here with the little grinder on, just cleaning them up to keep them right. But what I'm saying, the insignia front pads are a nightmare. So it's like this. And they always get tight. And as you can see, very corroded. Very important to clean them up. Otherwise the pads just go tight on them. Just going to leave it there, guys. I'm going to get on, get this one built up, get it sorted. I'll come back to you when I get that big Mercedes on the lift for whatever it's in for, some kind of, I think it's just like a check or something like that. So I'll catch you soon. Right guys, a little bit of an update on Thursday. The Jag, the S-Type, the guy who's been here, Harry, he's given my dad a lift over to drop it off. Luckily it started, and that's away to the auto electricians. I will update you as and when I know anything about it, about what's been done on it and how to rectify it. So that's that anyway. That's away, and Harry's here with me now. So my dad's away MOT, and he's insignia, what you've just seen. Front discs and pads, rear discs and pads, oil change, and that's it really. It's a low mileage car. Not a great deal else to speak about of it. It should be back shortly. Got this E-Class in with a bit of a knocking on the right hand side. Tyres are in such a state on this car, I will say. All burnt out there. Same here. I don't know if you can see that on that edge. The back ones are really badly perished. You know, you can almost see into those cracks down to the cords. And again, even in the treads, cracked. Not what you want on a high-powered rear-wheel drive car, I can assure you. I found some play on this one. If Harry, can you just work this play a little bit for us? I don't know. This is usually quite difficult to show on camera. Where the bother is this one here, and it's the one within the actual hub as well. But looking at this bush where the shockhead point is through it, and this drop link, it does not look very good or up there. So maybe while this arm's disconnected, would probably make sense to put a new arm on, so you get the new bushes and the new ball joint. This arm I think's been replaced. The trap rod's okay, so I'll just get Harry to work it in a second, and I'll show you where it's at fault. And you can see the butt's been split anyway, so ingress of dirt, MOT fail, and obviously that's the whole reason it's an MOT fail, because shit's getting in there. Worn the ball joint out, now it's got play. Just quickly on my Mercedes, and I just wanted to show you, obviously that's the difference between a UK Mercedes to a much older Mercedes that's been in Spain all its life. Zero rust. Same on these back arches, like I've shown you before. As well as underneath, you'll see bits of corrosion here and there on the bodies, as they do upside down and up there. Get a look under here. I don't know, I've tried showing you this last time, but it really, I'll have to show you on the lift, but we'll try and get down on my hands and knees and I'll show you just how good. Look at that, still black from the factory. Clearly it's had 3 winters, but that back subframe still got the writing on it. It's unbelievable. Never seen it. Look at the shockers, have still got the writing on. Can you see that? The original brake pipe isn't even got rust on it. Never seen nothing like it in my life. Harry, can you just work this play on this wheel? I'll just get Harry to work the play on here. Sorry, I'm scooting down trying to do things because I've got a few things I need to get on with. You'll just see the play on that. I don't know how that shows on camera, but you'll just be able to see that ball joint moving up and down. That's it, thanks Harry. So, that's that. I want to show you what I found on this as well. The air filter wasn't really that bad. Perflux one, good quality, but it's obviously, with it being in Spain, it's very, very dusty in there. So I'm going to get all that cleaned out. I'm going to put a little bit of electrical contact cleaner on the mass airflow sensor. I'm going to blast this out with the air, obviously covering this hole so nothing gets through. Bit of contact cleaner on, dry it off. I just want to show you. some Spanish debris in here. Obviously, that's the old-fashioned English wasp, we know that. That thing's some kind of a big moth, but this little thing here, anybody into the insects? That's certainly not something recognisable from the UK. Too big for a mosquito, surely. But yeah, there we go. As well as when I've just been hoovering this car and cleaning it out, it's nice to find in some Spanish tickets and stuff. I put them to one side, but I've just been on giving this leather a nice bit of treatment, and it's come up absolutely lovely. I've hoovered all the carpets out in the back. It's doing my head in, all the dust and detritus all over the place. Cleaned them all out. Obviously the engine covers off because I'm waiting for the spark plugs to come. Nice and clean, smelling fresh. All the windows cleaned. I can't stand dirty windows and windscreens. So yeah, happily on with this. So now, going, like I've said, clean that out. New Bosch air filter. The fuel filter will be left. That'll come when the car's up on the lift if I have time. If not, that'll come at the beginning of the season next year. Say pollen filter's done, oil filter's done. That's why this cover is off the engine, what you've just seen in the footwell there. I've got 4 nice NGK made in Japan. Spark plugs coming for it. I do like my Bosch filters and stuff, but I do not like Bosch plugs, and their original Mercedes one, so I'm guessing they've been in there for a little while, so it's getting some nice new plugs. Air filter, oil change, pollen filter, fuel filter will be done. It's got a nice dose of 99 octane fuel in there, premium E5 along with Miller's fuel additive, so it'll get a good blast. And then at the end of the month, it's going away into the garage, into storage, and that'll be it. I know a lot of you might say, what's the point in that, Dan? It's there to be used. It is, but I can assure you, after one winter, the underbody will not look like the way it is now, and that's exactly how I want to keep this car. So that's my preference, and I respect everybody else has got a different point of view. Totally up to you, but I want my car to stay looking like this one and not like that one. And I do just want to say that's actually really good condition for one of those on that year. So yeah, I'm going to get it land guarded next week underneath. Not that there's much to spray on this because it's all plastic covers, but I'll get it into as much places as I can just for when it's got to stand over the winter. So I'll catch you soon, guys. It'll be tomorrow on Friday's vlog. Like I've mentioned, I'm bringing the A6. Once I've done this air filter and cleaned that out, and my dad's back, I'm taking the Mercedes home. I'm bringing the A6 here, and like I've said, all of this is getting moved out the way, and the new car, I don't know if I've mentioned it, I think I have or I haven't, I don't know, so I'm not going to mention it in case I haven't. Swapping it for the new car tomorrow when Simon's here, so I'll catch you soon. Hello guys, and welcome back to Friday's vlog, the last one of the week. A disastrous start with oil. The usual, what we call the Dalek, the oil collection machine, which is older than me, was full, and then obviously the whole oil of this transit went in, which I assumed it wasn't full, and it went everywhere, but we're sorted anyway. Job done. Anyways, on to what we've got in a transit. I lost track of what mark these are, to be quite honest. I haven't got a clue. There's that many different ones, but it's 63 plate 2013 with the 2.2 TDCI. What you would probably find a very similar idea in the Mark III Mondeos. Good engine with all intents and purposes, but it's got the DPF on these, so they're becoming a bit problematic. Just thought I'd show you, if not, you don't know much about transits, this little badge on the back on them. It does actually mean something. So the first numbers are the engine power. So you'll get like a 75, I think, or an 85. Then you get the 100, the 115, I believe, a 130, etc., etc. That's brake horsepower, power. But this is the 100, which you spec that with Ford, and they charge you an amount. I tell you now, these can remap to well over 150 plus brake horsepower just on a standard stage 1 map, which does help if you're towing and using them for heavy loads. And then this bit here is quite important as well. This is your weight. You have a T260, which is your lowest weight, your T280, which is this, and then you get into the T300s and that. Basically, I'll show you on the weight plate. I think it's on the passenger's door on these. It annoys me so much when I see people towing with these vans. There it is there, right. 28 to 35, I don't know, there it's written there. So if anybody's good at maths, that will be, I'm not taking into the end ones, that's 200, 700. So, it really boils me when I see people thinking that, ooh, they're in a big van, one of these, right, and they've got a tow bar on, and they're towing a big caravan or a trailer. Do you know this van can only tow, which I've just shown you on there, what was it, 700 or 800 kilos? It can barely tow a garden trailer. You cannot tow caravans, car trailers, nothing. Do the maths there. The bottom figure is the maximum trail weight. I'll just check if it is 700 or was it 800. I'm having to look through here because I can't see through. What is it? So we'll just take away the 25, so that's 2.8 up to 3.5. That's 200. That's only 700 kilos. Bearing in mind, my caravan is 1,700 kilos. You can only tow 700 kilos with this van, which really boils me when you see these people towing caravans with these. You can't. You can't tow any. In fact, I don't even think a caravan exists bar a flipping trailer tent, which is 700 kilos. So be very, very careful with the T260 is even worse. But the T280s, the T260s, and I think some of the T300s are better. What you really want is, I think they're a T330, where they're a rear wheel drive and they've got the big 2.4 proper engine in, and they are the big 3-ton carrying ones. These can't carry hardly any weight in them. I'll show you underneath a bit more about that on the leaf springs. So yeah, little top tip there. If you own a Transit and you think, ooh, I have a big van and I'm going to tow a caravan with it, check your weight plate, because you will get absolutely slaughtered off DVSA if you get stopped in one of these vans towing pretty much anything more than a garden trailer. You know, or like a braked small trailer. You cannot tow nothing with these, basically, and I don't know how so many people get away with it. I really don't know how DVSA haven't clamped down on it, but I will show you, and you will see underneath how pathetic the rear suspension are on these, which is specially made so that you can't carry that amount of weight, so you have to upgrade to the higher ones. So anyway, what's the van in for? Just in for a straightforward service. Oil and filter, air filter. There's Harvey going for his walk. He likes to be heard. So yeah, 2.2 DPF engine, timing changed. It's exactly what you'd find in a Mark III Mondeo, just slightly changed. We haven't got the tool for this fuel filter. I don't know where it's gone, so unfortunately we're having to leave that today. But it's had the air filter done, oil and filter. I've checked all the levels and whatnot. Sorry guys, it's really windy today. The door just decided to open itself. And yeah, it's only got 105,000 mile. Quite a nice spec one, this. It's got the heated windscreen, electric windows. I don't think it's got aircon though. So yeah, it's not bad, but unfortunately I'll show you underneath where things go massively downhill with these. And before it's fully up, I just want to show you these. They're quite a good idea. You know, when the vans are getting old, they're called SPACs. Excuse, it's not a bad word, that is actually what they're called. You just put them over the arches, because of course the rot, these things. But you put them over, and I must admit, it's actually tidied it up. It covers the majority of the visible rust on it. And from the surface, actually, I'm going to tell you now, it isn't actually that bad underneath to what I expected. But yeah, I quite like those. I just wanted to point that one out. But we'll go underneath. It's had something put along there as well, which has tidied it up. We'll just stop it there and I'll grab a light. So I've sprayed a bit of grease on this sump. It isn't actually leaking, but it was getting very corroded. Oil filter done. Usual type that started round a bit. We'll have to be careful with that. It's had a new power steering pump, which is connected to the water pump. So yeah, it's like a shaft driven thing to the water pump from the power steering pump, and the guys complained. Sorry guys, I had to stop a few times. It's just really windy, and that door is suicidal if it hits you, literally. So yeah, it's had something done on the gearbox, which you can see. It's had a reconditioned gearbox, new power steering pump, and a new steering rack of some kind, I believe. Yeah, it has. And he's complained of having some noises on it, and I can't really see anything of the obvious what I would class as dangerous. But it's had new front arms, obviously new drop link over there at that side, new front tyres. So yeah, it's not actually too bad. There's your DPF. What I've done is, underneath, it does look a bit grim under here, but honestly, for one of these, it ain't bad. I've coated the main suspension points, and obviously this is MOT area for structural, because it's got a suspension point right at the back. I've just coated it as best as I can, just with grease, nothing, and they go badly up here. But yeah, they do like to rot, these things, but this one actually isn't too bad. But like I said, have you seen those puny leaf springs? Have you ever even seen a leaf spring with only one leaf? You know, you normally have two on them, or at least three. So yeah, do not get into the idea that these are a heavy-duty vehicle like a Sprinter or something like that. They are not. These are basically as big as they can get on the platform that they're on, which leaves you very little load weight and basically no tone weight. They are not designed for it. So I love a lot of these people that tart these things up and they think they're driving around in a flipping Arctic or something like that, and they're not. Honestly, they are not designed to be strong. If you want one, you get the long wheelbase one, which actually sits on a proper chassis. These don't have a bolt-on chassis. These are a monocoque, just exactly the same as that Astra. You want the ones where they're basically a carb on the chassis, and them ones are a lot stronger, and you've got a 3.5 ton tone limit on those. The T330s, I think they are. That's what they're called. But yeah, under here, the back tyre is absolutely goosed on the back here. It's been running low and everything. It's okay, it's not illegal, but it's not what you want, and it was flat. This one's got a dodgy valve, and as you can see, that's been run flat as well, and it's really damaged that edge. I don't know how you can see that there. So yeah, and we've been trying to get this valve to reseal. It was hissing, but I mean, you can see how bad the level of cracking and everything is in there. I'm just waiting for a blowout these back tyres, and I assume it's got a lot of weight in the back. So yeah, definitely requiring 2 back tyres pretty soon. But yeah, that's it really with that. Just to service, there's a little gear light on it, and I did the service light reset, and it's kind of gone off, so I'm going to run it up to my house, because I've had to buy a new scanner, because some idiot here broke it, but it wasn't my fault really, but it was an accident. But yeah, last night I was up till 2 o'clock in the morning setting it up, and I've done a video on that for you, if anybody's interested. Seems to be a very common thing on YouTube, that people find it very interesting to watch somebody open something that's brand new. So I've joined the club. I did a video of opening a brand new £900 diagnostic machine, which I will do some demonstrations on. So yeah, so that's that. I think that light's gone out on it. There's not much more to show. I'm not really wanting to show anything in or whatever's the van. It's not my business to do that. It is somebody's business on wheels, basically. So I'll not do that. But there is one big development, which I'm going to put the doors up and show you right now. There we go. I was going to do it as a separate video, but I thought I'd add it into this week's weekly vlog. I don't know how I'm going to do this. I might do a little short video of a reveal. I don't know, but I might as well put this into the weekly vlog. If on that moment of doing that, I'm going to keep this one short here, because I know it's getting long. I'm going to do a separate video on that later on, because the wind is just unbearable to try and do anything out there. I'm going to try and do it somewhere more sheltered. So I'll leave that there for this week, guys. There's there is one car. I've totally forgot about that. Nothing much to speak of. In for MOT. It is over there. Little diesel Micra. That was in a few weeks ago. Just in for MOT. Didn't need nothing. Just going to go straight through. So we'll leave that there. I think I'll record a separate video on the cars, because this section of the weekly vlog probably won't be put on until early next week. So I'll leave it there. I hope you have enjoyed it. I hope you enjoyed my video on my new car, the Mercedes. Right, guys, just flipping I've only been on here 10 minutes, and my mum's come to take the dog out. I've heard that he continuously barked. I give up sometime trying to do recordings. Just that 1 10-minute snippet, I decided to do some recording. Everything has to kick off. So yeah, anyways, we'll leave it here. I need to go up to the ML now, because the battery's died on the thing, and I cannot get it to charge at the guy's yard. It's too much of a faff. So me and Simon are going to go up now, get the battery off it, bring it back to the garage. I'll sort trying to charge that up next week. I'm going for our dinner. I need to do this car sorting out, so I've got quite a lot to do, and pick my son up from school for 3 o'clock. So we've got loads to get on with. So I hope you've enjoyed this week's vlog. I hope you like the new cars. I'm getting a whole new fleet turnaround within a week. I'll do a separate video on the Altea, and I'll catch you on next week's vlog. So if you've enjoyed this, please hit the like. If you haven't already done so, please leave a comment. It all helps. I do get back to you all eventually. I just sat up till 2 o'clock in the morning last night and caught up on every single comment. And if you haven't already done so, hit the subscribe, guys. It's free of charge, and it really does help the channel, and it keeps you in contact with me and notifies you when I upload a new video, which isn't all the time, so you won't get harassed by it. Catch you on next week's vlog, guys. Bye.